Without further ado, I'd like to introduce our first conference member, the President of DCU, Brian MacCraith. Get the name.
Gormagad Chris, Gini Usla, Boilum, Fortia, a Goil Rove Galer and Shah Margin, Higan Helix, and Shah in Oscar Carvalho Clear. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, friends from across Ireland, but in particular friends from the US and in particular from the Silicon Valley region, you're all very welcome here to DCU to this ITLG event. We're delighted that this is the second time DCU has been in a position to host this major ITLG Comes to Ireland event. The last one was 4 years ago, again held in the Helix. And we've visited the event in Cork, in UCC and in Limerick. And we've been delighted to see how it's grown in impact. So we're, again, delighted to welcome you all back. I'll be chairing a panel shortly after this introductory session, but just as an introduction to those of you that may not know much about the university, just some background to us. We've embraced the title Ireland's University of Enterprise, reflecting two things. One is a very clear commitment to engagement with the enterprise sector itself across all its dimensions, economic, commercial, social, cultural, but also a commitment to fostering enterprising and innovative mindsets in our students and ultimately our graduates. Where are we? Well, most of you may know this, but just in case you don't, we're sitting just inside the M50, which runs around Dublin City itself. But most importantly, although located, strictly speaking, inside the Dublin City Council region, Fingal County Council is our hinterland. And this is where we have the most rapid growing population on the island. Swords, the next town going north from here, is the most rapid growing town in the country itself. But we see our location as Fingal County and going north from there to the border and beyond. So it's the eastern corridor from Dublin to Belfast, which is really where the greatest growth, let's say, in economic development, population development, number of schools and so on, and it's where we've placed our primary focus. And I think it's particularly appropriate then for ITLG to be located in Fingal, and we're delighted to partner with our colleagues in Fingal Chamber of Commerce, in particular Fingal County Council, and you'll meet shortly the Chief Executive, Paul Reid, from there, and our other education partner, IT Blanchardstown, and its President, Mary Meany. What about DCU itself? It's three things. It's Ireland's youngest university, a tag it shares with University of Limerick, both established in 1989 as universities. It's Ireland's fastest growing university now. We've grown rapidly to 12,500 students this year, but by virtue of incorporating 3 other colleges into the university over the next 12 months, we'll grow to about 16,500 students next year. But again, the slope of demographics in this region sees us growing right out to 2030 itself. But most importantly, universities, Irish universities, all universities operate on the global stage. And we're delighted to be the only Irish universities ranked in the 2 major ranking systems for young universities, those under the age of 50. For the past 3 years, we've been in the QS top 50 under 50. January last year, we were number 44 in that. And just 3 weeks ago, we were delighted to host here in the Helix the Global Summit of Young Universities from Times Higher Education, and moved up almost 20 places to be number 75 in that ranking. We're not led and said by rankings, but it's very important as a door opener for us around the world. It's what students look at internationally, it's what other partner universities look at, it's what companies look at. So in difficult times for Irish universities, it's important that we're able to maintain and indeed improve our positions in those ranking systems. Our vision, our single line statement about the university itself is this concept of a university of enterprise that is research intensive, that is globally engaged, with 2 major commitments. One is that we will focus on the quality and impact of our graduates, and that's hugely important, not just nationally but globally. And secondly, that we don't just generate new knowledge through research, but we focus on translating that into societal and economic benefits. So the key words that keep appearing in our statements are enterprise, engagement, transformation, and translation of knowledge. We focus on that transformation agenda by fostering graduates that can flourish in 21st century society, a very different society even to one existed 20 years ago. So we focus not just on disciplinary knowledge, but on the graduate attributes: problem solvers, effective leaders, active communicators, being creative and enterprising. We give each of our students a neat portfolio to self-reflect and develop their own personal attributes along the course of their education at university. Internships are central to what we bring and integrate into our programs themselves. Almost all of our students do a significant internship. Last year, over 45% of our students on internships were offered jobs on the basis of those internships. We focus on student leadership and life skills, but ultimately it's about employability. The greatest thing we can give our students is give a future which allows them to flourish in the world of work, in the world of employment. People like Lorraine Tuchel, someone who has received a major award, a leadership award from ITLG on the Stanford campus late last year. I had the privilege of introducing Lorraine. She's now Senior Vice President of Marketing at Google headquarters in Mountain View. We're very lucky to be able to leverage the benefits of all the enterprises in our region. So within 20 minutes drive, I can be at the European headquarters of Google, Facebook, LinkedIn. I can travel out to the major campus of IBM. I can travel out to Intel, HP, and so on. All of these are major advantages to us, not only in terms of positions for our students, but in terms of research partnerships. Let me mention just a few. In terms of a digital content, in terms of machine translation, in terms of personalisation of knowledge, we're pleased to host the major national centre of research with Trinity College. The two of us have shared it for the past 8 years, ADAPT. We host the National Technology Centre for Cloud Computing. This is led by a consortium of industry players in the cloud computing and commerce areas, where a cohort of researchers in partnership with UCC, Athlone IT and others, we develop solutions for them. But perhaps most significantly of all, the biggest ever investment by the Irish state in any research area is the National Centre for Data Analytics, Insight, now worth over €88 million in investment. Half of which comes from the government, the other half significantly from industry partners. Over 300 researchers with nodes at UCC, NUI Galway, UCD, and in particular here at DCU. This is having a huge impact on research and translation of research into areas like learning analytics, healthcare analytics, risk analytics, and you'll see later on in sports analytics indeed. And just to show that it's not all about ICT, in the area of biomedical diagnostics, a major industry academic partnership existing here for over 7 years in that space and generating significant developments in terms of intellectual property. A new test just developed with global significance for colorectal cancer, a €25 blood test, which is going to transform the whole early detection of colorectal cancer, Ireland's second most significant cancer, with a 48% mortality rate. But just showing you in terms of engagement with enterprise, these make a huge difference. Again, leveraging our location, last year we announced a partnership with Dublin Airport Authority International to create Dublin Aviation Institute. Why is that? It's one of the most rapidly growing areas internationally in terms of a job opportunity, driven by two things. One is the rapid global growth, doubling of the number of routes, doubling of the number of passengers by 2030, and a significant retirement cliff. Almost 30% of people in the industry will disappear from it, but for demographic reasons, aging reasons, by 2020. So this is about academic programs and research, fostering a new generation of graduates that can actually embrace that area here and drive it forward, with major international and online opportunities for us in doing that. Our innovation agenda is driven by 3 pillars, and I'll use this as an introduction to the next session in terms of looking at the role of education and innovation. But it's DCU Innovation Campus, which is our new 12-acre site, 5 minutes walk from here, which has now got 30 companies, over 300 employees before we've even marketed the site itself. DCU Invent, which is our on-campus incubation centre, and very significantly, DC Ryan Academy for Entrepreneurs, founded in honour of Tony Ryan, the founder of Ryanair itself, which is doing fantastic work both outward-facing and inward-facing into the university itself. So I'll stop at that point. We say we embrace every day the concept of the University of Enterprise in terms of what we deliver to our students and ultimately our graduates, what we do in terms of research, and what we deliver back into society in terms of innovation. So on that basis, we're delighted to be welcoming you all here to the university, and in particular fostering our linkage with Silicon Valley through the great work of the Irish Technology Leadership Group. Graham Agah.